Alright, so we are now in chapter 5 of Book 2 in the Fellowship of the Ring, the Bridge of Khazad-Dum. So they are now at Balin's tomb, and they find the Book of Marzarbal, which is a record of the colony that the dwarves had built there under Balin, and it reveals the fates of the dwarves. And of course, with Balin was also Ori and Oyen, who are now dead as well. Of course, you remember them from The Hobbit, so now that they're gone, of course, we know Thorin and Feeling Keely have been gone. So there's not very many of the dwarves from The Hobbit left at this point. But anyway, they begin to hear drum beats, and then they get attacked by orcs, and you do see the hand and foot of a troll, but you don't see the actual cave troll. I understand why they did that in the movie, and I do like that scene in the movie very much. And it is a large orc chieftain, not a troll, that wounds Frodo. But of course he has Mithril on, which they know nothing about, but they do find out later. And so they're a little amazed that Frodo's still alive. But anyway, they're chased by the orcs, and Gandalf at one point goes off and lets them continue to run, and he stays behind a little bit and to kind of hold them off a little bit. And he comes back and mentions that there's something else there, but he's not sure what it is. And of course, as we do know, when they get to the bridge, it is the Balrog. You remember Balrogs from the Silmarillion. They were used, those were Morgoth's servants. They were demons of fire. And so, as it mentions here, he is a both shadow and flame. So you have this creature that's covered in fire, and there's a shadow about it, and has long flowing hair, which here it mentions it's called a mane, but that's what you call that. It's not a lion's mane like the Balrog in the animated film, which was kind of silly. And of course, Gandalf does his little speech where he says, "I am a servant of the secret fire, wielder of the flame of Anor." The secret fire being the flame imperishable in the Silmarillion, if you remember that, which is with Iluvatar, and Morgoth sought for it so he could try to create life for himself, but only Iluvatar can do that. And anything that we create is done by his power. We are basically little creators made in the image of a creator. And one thing that is confusing is wielder of the flame of Anor, which is Anor is the sun, which was one of the last fruits of Laudorlin, the golden tree in Valinor, and it was set up in the sky by the Valar. What Gandalf has to do with that, I'm not really sure. Or was he saying the secret fire is the wielder of the flame of Anor? And what does that mean exactly? And he also calls him the Flame of Udun. Udun being is a region in Mordor that is named after the real Udun, which is a tomb now from the Silmarillion, which was Morgoth's original halls, and this is where the Balrog is originally from. And if you remember, at the end of the Silmarillion, the Balrog, all the remaining Balrogs that weren't killed, and there was only ever seven at one time, even though in the Tolkien's original writings he had thousands of them, but he decided later it would only be 7. A few of them are killed in the War of Wrath, and a few that aren't flee and hide themselves, and that's this one. And he was originally awakened by the dwarves of Moria in their great excavations there. And is that how you say that? I don't know. It's still early yet. Now, one last point that I do want to bring up is, do Balrogs have wings? Now here it says the shadow about it reached out like 2 vast wings, but not that they were wings. But everyone thinks that they're wings, and you see a lot of depictions of them of having wings, and in all the movies they have wings. But I don't think Tolkien envisioned them as actually having wings. But anyway, the Balrog pulls Gandalf under, and he tells the Fellowship to flee, which they do, and they're able to make it out through the other gates of Moria and out into the sun, and of course they're free, but Gandalf is falling in the abyss to his death. And so that ends that chapter. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will be back later with another one, and catch you all later.